So the Season 2 Reloaded update, what's on deck, when's it coming, and what else should you know about and be on the lookout for? Today I want to cover all of that and more as we navigate the next few weeks of waiting for some new content to drop in Warzone, Vanguard, and maybe even Cold War. As we go along, drop your thoughts down below. Are you looking forward to any one thing in particular, anything that you hope maybe gets added under the radar? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts down below. But if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on the video, and if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things COD, whether that be Warzone, Vanguard, retrospective videos of the classics. We've got you covered. So if you're interested in joining the community, I'd love to have you. And finally, a reminder, if you ever are interested in supporting the channel a little further, creator code Espresso in the in-game shop is an entirely optional way to do so. Don't ever feel pressured to, but if you want to, options there. That said, let's jump into it. So let's start out with what's still to come here. With Season 2's launch, or I guess right before Season 2's launch, we ended up getting a whole host of things listed on the roadmap for Warzone, MP, zombies, and other things like weapons and operators. Now, for Warzone and multiplayer, that's what we're going to focus on here to begin with, but we have limited amounts of things left from the roadmap that we know of right now, though there are some things that have been mentioned in other blog posts and things like that that aren't quite on this just yet. So for the multiplayer side of things for Vanguard, we of course saw Gondola and Casablanca introduced. Both of those we can scratch off. Ranked play already came here. The Valentine's Day content came around. So the only two things that we have still around from this in particular is the Arms Race new mode and the Gamma vehicle for larger scale modes. And that vehicle will be introduced here in that Arms Race game mode, but it's something that the Arms Race mode, there's still not a whole ton relatively known about it. Previously, it was mentioned that this was going to be sort of a ground war style mode coming back to Vanguard, but all that's listed in the official Season 2 blog post is an arms race with armored war machines is bigger than infantry combat. It's piloting motorcycles, squad transport vehicles, and tanks en route to destroying enemy bases. This and other features are expected to arrive during Season 2, and that's quite literally it. So it could be something that we end up seeing make its way over like ground war with larger scale maps. It could be something that we end up seeing that is something maybe like War from Call of Duty World War II, but right now there's still limited information on that. Now, we'll talk about some stuff that this may also bring along with it in just a second, but just talking about some confirmed things at the very moment. We also know of from the operators and the weapons section, they'll end up seeing the Ice Axe and Gustavo, our third operator here with this. Now, Gustavo is a paid operator, not really too focused on him. The Ice Axe is a melee weapon, not really too focused on that either, but it is something that will be available via shop bundle and also in-game challenge. But one thing that's listed in the Season 2 blog post and not on the roadmap is a brand new weapon of the Armaguerra 43. This will be the weapon that rounds out our offering for Season 2 weaponry, but it is something that should be rather interesting and we should be seeing it right around the launch of Season 2 Reloaded. Now, it's described as a very high rate of fire SMG, effective at short to medium range engagements, and it's also said that it was only produced in small quantities. This advanced submachine gun gave insight into how modern CQB armaments could function, even though its design was never built upon in the decades to follow. It's also said that due to its prototypical nature, more research is needed in its available attachments and effectiveness in live fire scenarios. So more so broad and vague descriptions as opposed to other weapons we've seen described in the past, so there's not a whole lot to go off of, but if I were to guess, this may be comparable to the PPSH. Not great for distance, but up close it could shred. So we'll see another weapon like that here introduced into the fold. Now, as for the Warzone side of things, if we take a look directly at what is coming from the roadmap, the only thing that is still left on that roadmap that has not made its way over into the live environment is that of Rebirth Reinforced. This is something that in the Season 2 blog post is described in two different manners. It seems like it is something that's listed as a game mode, but while that could be the case, we also do know that we're going to see some changes to Rebirth Island, something that listed in that mention of Rebirth Reinforced at mid-season. It says, meanwhile, there are rumors of a resurgence at Rebirth Island, and we're not talking about the game mode. Additionally, there is that entire subsection that says stay tuned for patch notes, Rebirth Island mid-season update, where it also talks about as Caldera's secrets come to light, something lurks within Rebirth Island's shadows. Expect substantial changes to the prison island during the mid-season update. So that's something that we've talked about here before in the past, but what that actually entails, we don't quite know. Likely some large changes to the actual map itself. So that's interesting, and I'm very curious to see how that all shapes up, but that will be coming with the mid-season update as well. Outside of that, though, we do know of a couple of things also coming that are quality of life changes. We've talked about here on the channel how Season 2 introduced a lot of quality of life changes and things to hopefully make the experience better for the player, and Season 2 Reloaded is no different than that. They're introducing still a handful of things here and a couple of things later on in Season 3 as well, but with Season 2 Reloaded, you can expect the ability to control your resurrected state after being downed. Once somebody gets you back up, you can either go straight to prone or crouched. You can also have the ability to drop a gas mask in-game, and you'll have the ability to pick up armor from another satchel, not just having to hope that your teammate doesn't run over that stash of 8 armor pieces that drops next to the satchels. You can actually pick those up from inside the satchel now, it will seem. So that's something that will definitely be nice, but we talked about how there's potentially more here on the horizon. And coming back to it, that Vanguard arms race, if that's something that is war, if it is something like ground war, that's possibly going to require bigger maps, and we still haven't seen anything in regards to that snow map that would then go alongside that key art imagery. Gondola, sure, but that's not a big enough map to have different vehicles and tanks on that. So likely that means that we're going to have to end up seeing more maps introduced here. So while it's not explicitly written, we very well could see a couple of new maps introduced to round out this new mode coming. And there also were a couple of maps that were data mined that may actually fit into that. So very curious to see how this will all shape up as well. There may be possible further additions to Warzone with Caldera, some map adjustments here that maybe open up some smaller areas like other bunkers perhaps, possibly the introduction of another seasonal event. We had one here to kick off Season 2, but that was the Search and Deploy event, but it wasn't quite the event that you may be used to. There were no challenges, no rewards to earn. It was quite literally just a rollout of new in-game features over the course of a couple of weeks, like the points of interest, rolling convoys, and Nebula 5 bombs that we now see as it's all been rolled out. So we may end up actually seeing something here at mid-season for that as well. So that said, when can we expect the update? And turns out that's a good question. As we talked about a couple of days ago, the Battle Pass timer actually had a few days added to it, indicating a slight extension. So while we were coming up on the previous mid-season point, it seems like now that's been pushed back a little bit, to which we also end up seeing that there are a couple of weeks of playlists already laid out here for us on the Warzone Trello board going until the week of March 17th, wrapping up on the 24th, which is another Thursday. We also know that we're going to get another double XP event happening that weekend following the 24th, so it really comes down to if we think we'll see an update on Tuesday or Thursday, because Season 2 rolled out on a Tuesday afternoon as opposed to a Wednesday night into a Thursday morning, depending on where you were in the world, like we'd seen in the last year and a half or so. So that could put our update at anywhere from the 22nd, which actually was listed explicitly in that pre-Season 2 briefing that myself, other gaming press, ended up going and listening to what Pat Kelly's studio head at Infinity Ward and other Warzone heads had to say about things. So that might be a time here to look forward to, March 22nd. But otherwise, I would expect sometime during that week. The actual day itself may be a little bit up in the air. But that said, that is the mid-season update here for Warzone, Vanguard, and anything COD related, maybe even Black Ops Cold War. I mean, we still have WMD. That's something that I wanted to touch on, but really don't quite know when. That seems like the update's already been out there. It's planned to be out. So I kind of think this will go out before the mid-season update for WMD and Black Ops Cold War, but that one's kind of a wild card. But anyways, that's the mid-season update, what we know of it, and when to expect it here for new content coming in Warzone and Vanguard. That said, let me know your thoughts down below. Are you guys looking forward to the mid-season update? Anything in particular you're really looking forward to, whether that be some rebirth changes, a new weapon, whatever the case, drop it down below. But if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on the video, and if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Warzone, Vanguard, Season 2 Reloaded related, and anything COD. We got you covered here on the channel. So if you guys are interested, I'd love to have you in the community. That said, thanks so much for watching. Honest Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care, and peace.